When was the last time you did a job interview? Do you remember how did you feel about it? Was it excitement? Was it fear? Did you get like frozen and you forgot everything you had to say? The feeling that you can have in a job interview not always is pleasant, but there are ways to improve it and get better results in your next job interview. Stay with me until the end because I'm going to share a secret about how to deal with the nerves and the fear. First thing, and very important, prepare yourself for the interview. We dress up to go out, we prepare lunch in the house when you're going to receive friends. Why not prepare for a job interview? That's super important. What do I mean by prepare yourself for a job interview? Know who you are going to talk with. Know about the company, know about the sector of that company, the latest news on the social media about the company, how big is the company, how many employers, in which countries it is established. Know about the place you're going to work or the place you want to work. Do your homework, do your research. With internet is much easier now, so just dig a little bit, check the website, check reviews about that company, check their page on LinkedIn. So there are several ways to get information about the company. Don't take for granted that you know already, because I'm sure you're going to find interesting things about the company that you haven't seen in a first glance. Scroll down quickly on social media. So the more you know about the company, the better you're going to look like in case they ask you something about the company, and the more confident you feel. So it's about you. You feel that you know who you're talking about. You won't be talking to the company, obviously, but a representative of that company, but you know what is waiting for you. You know what is behind that person, you know the background, and you know a little bit more about the company you are about to work for. So do your homework, investigate about the company, and internet is the main source for free for you to do that. Review your curriculum, your resume. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that when we're doing interviews with me and I asked something about the curriculum, the amount of people that said, oh, I didn't know this was written on my curriculum, or oh, that's not the right information, or the worst reply ever, I didn't do my curriculum, it was my friend, or it was my father, whatever. So there is no excuse for not knowing what is in your curriculum when you're doing a job interview. Curriculum, resumes, whatever you want to call it, it's a document that you are presenting. Take that seriously, because we recruiters will take that very seriously. So whatever is written on the document, that's the truth. And you should know about that, right? There should be any information written on your curriculum that you don't know about it. You should be able to talk about all of that because, hey, you're saying you did it. So if you did it, if you worked, if you developed that skills, you should know what you're talking about. So there is no excuse for, oh, I didn't know it was written on my curriculum. No. How do you prepare for that? How do you review your curriculum? You basically read it. You know what is written there. You remember things, because imagine you mention a job experience from 10 years ago. It's normal that you won't remember the details, right? But there is no excuse for you once you are in front of the recruiter, in your moment to shine and to make your best impression. There is no excuse for you not remembering that on that moment, because if you read your curriculum before, if you prepared for that, you're going to know that. So just read through your curriculum, refresh your mind with the experiences, with the achievements, with the name of the company, with the dates you were there. And if there is something that you don't feel comfortable about, or something that is a very old experience, just redo your curriculum. You can always change something, you can always add information if you remember, especially for the most recently jobs. Sometimes we don't update the curriculum that often. So take some time and review your curriculum, prepare yourself, refresh your mind with the information that is written there, so you're going to look much more professional in front of the recruiter, and that will for sure help you to do not feel nervous. Because imagine the situation. The recruiter asks you something about your curriculum, and because you didn't read the curriculum for a long time, you don't remember, you're not sure, so that makes you feel nervous. And from that point on, roller coaster. Probably you won't be concentrate as you were before, optimistic and confident. So we don't want that one single question about a date on your curriculum or about a task or about a project that you mentioned make you feel nervous and you lose the track and you lose control of the interview. So all we are talking here is to minimize the chances of you feeling nervous. So knowing what is written in your curriculum is very basic, but I've seen many cases of people that really didn't know, didn't remember, and from that point on the interview ran really bad and they were nervous and they couldn't concentrate anymore. So avoid the risk of being catch in a situation that you say, oh, I didn't know it was written on my curriculum. That will only makes you feel nervous. Does it ever happen to you that the recruiter asked you something about your curriculum and you didn't know about it? So what did you do? How did you get rid of that situation? How did you manage that? Please share in the comments below how was your experience. I have seen that from the other side, but I would love to know your experience from being the person that didn't know what to say when the recruiter asked about something that was written on your curriculum. Another very important thing to avoid being nervous during the job interview is do not lie. If you're telling the truth, you know what you're talking about. So there is no reason to feel nervous, or there are less reasons to feel nervous. It's important that you stick to the truth, because even if you get lost, even if the recruiter interrupts you during an explanation that you're given or something happened, you know how to go back to track, because you're talking about something that happened to you. You're talking about your experience, about your studies, about the things you have done. So you know what you're talking about. When you're lying, when you just made up a version of something and you're talking about that, in the back of your mind you're trying to stick to that story, but it's not a true story. So the chances that you forget about it are higher. You're going to need to put a lot of effort in remembering the lie, remembering the story that you just created, because it's not true, and all your attention will go to that point. So if the recruiter asks you something that you're not counting with, a different question or something that removes you from that line of lie, you're gonna probably start feeling nervous and you won't be able to go back the track. So if you stick to the truth, you can still feel nervous, but it's easier to balance that and to go back on track soon, because you know what you're talking about. There is no big deal about that. You're nervous, you get confused, you forget a point, you turn around, but then you come back and you know what you're talking about. If you stick to the truth, it's much easier to control your nerves and to go back on track if you get lost at some point in the interview. So I do not recommend you to lie, because you're going to feel nervous and the recruiter will probably notice that you are lying. Remember what I said about curriculum? Curriculum is a document. It's an information that you present to the company saying, hey, this is the truth here. So if at any point the recruiter, the hiring manager, whoever is involved in the recruitment process, identify that you lied on the curriculum, there is a big chance you're going to lose your job in that very moment. So not saying people don't lie. I have seen that many times. Let's be realistic, right? We are all adults, so I know people lie in job interviews. But if someone on this side identifies that you lied, you're going to lose your job. So my recommendation is stick to the truth, say it in the better way you can, and let's see what happens. Another way to control your nerves is don't rush during the job interview. Take your time to answer each question. When we are nervous, we have this tendency of speaking faster and try to say things, everything together at the same time very fast, so we get rid of that situation, right? No, wrong. If you speed your own rhythm too much, probably you're going to get lost in your own answer, so it won't help you at all. It's normal, this process of speaking faster, because your brain is working very fast and you just want to say it and finish that situation that is not the most pleasant one, but you probably are gonna get lost in what you're saying. So it's better and it's more recommendable that you take your time, breathe, like literally, Breathe to give your brain some time to process the information. And that's especially true when you don't understand the question. Because when we are nervous, we also kind of get blocked in ourselves and we are not listening properly, right? You're so nervous that whatever people say, you kind of understand that in a different way. So especially if you didn't understand properly the question, don't just jump and try to answer straight away, because first of all, you don't know what was the question. You're not sure about it. So how are you going to write? How are you going to answer? So how are you going to give the right answer if you don't even know which was the question? So take your time, breathe. Okay, you can be more discreet about it, just like that. But breathe, give your brain a few little seconds just to get more oxygen and calm down a little bit. And there is no shame, listen to it, there is no shame at all in asking to the recruiter to repeat the question. That's normal, that's just like a conversation. So you can say easily, sorry, do you mind repeating the question? Or you can also check if you understood it right. Like, so what you're asking is this, and this, So in one case, you give the person the chance to tell you again what was the question. And in the other case, you check if what you think you understood is the correct way. In the meantime, you're giving your brain some time to process the information. You're calming down, you put some air inside your body, and you are taking a few more seconds before you answer the question. So you are lowering your stress, your nerves, and you're much more prepared to give the right answer after the interview. Don't be afraid about asking the recruiter to repeat the question or check if you understood it right. I can tell you that from the recruiter side, it's much better to have a candidate that takes some time, not 5 minutes, it's not that, few seconds to think about it, to process the information before giving me the answer, than that one that just jump and start saying something and I have to say, oh, sorry, can you slow down? I'm not understanding. Or sorry to interrupt you, but it's not what I asked. So it's better to go one step behind, double check, or ask the person to repeat the question, and then you go and answer. And in the meantime, you're controlling yourself and reducing your nerves. Take the job interview as a dialogue, as a conversation. Why not? I mean, it's not a monologue, or it shouldn't be a monologue. I know that there are recruiters that love to talk, and they can spend 20 minutes talking about the company, about the position, about their experience there, and all of that. But at some point, you will have the chance to speak, and you have the chance to interact with the person that you have in front of you. So make the most of it. If you keep all your questions, all your doubts inside your mind, that will make you feel more nervous, because you won't be present, you won't be concentrated in what the person is telling you, because you're keeping the information in your mind, trying to process, and the person is already talking about something else and you got lost in the process already. It's much better if you're present in the moment, if you can just, interrupt sometimes. Sorry, can you repeat that part again? Or as if you're talking to a friend, like, okay, so you're saying that this and that. Or just say, okay, I read about it. Or you interrupt and you mention something similar that you did in a previous job. If the recruiter is talking about the tasks you're going to do, your responsibilities, you can always jump in a polite way without interrupting too much, but just say, sorry, may I say that I also did something very similar in my previous job? And then you tell the story, you present some data, some examples, and all of that. Make the interview a conversation with the recruiter. That will make you feel more comfortable in the situation, more powerful, because you're going to be present, you're going to be bringing useful information in the moment, when it makes sense, when it's necessary, right? If you wait until the end of the interview and then you say, oh, by the way, I want to mention about your first question, that thing. It's like time is gone already. Make it more real, be present, and just create a dialogue. I say something, you say something, I ask, you reply, you ask, I reply. So a normal dialogue. Dialogues make you feel more relaxed, make you feel more present, more in the moment, and that for sure will remove your stress and bring you down to the moment. Did you ever face any of those situations that I just talked about? Are you familiar with that, or this is all very new for you? From my experience as a recruiter, I have seen all those things happening many times. But maybe you have a different struggle. Maybe the problems you're facing in your previous job interviews were different. So just leave a comment below and share with me what were the main problems that you're facing. Because maybe I can do another video later and talk more specific about that situation. Every person is different, so everyone will react in a different way during the job interviews. Some people speak very fast when they're nervous. Some people, they get very quiet. They don't say a word. They just say the minimum things they have to say. Some people are moving their body a lot. Some people stay like a statue. Some people are looking around. They can't face the recruiter because they feel more nervous. Some people are looking down. Some people start biting their nails. So these are all body signs. Your body language is showing that you are nervous, and you need to make your peace with that. So from your brain, just send a message to your body and say, it's okay. We are going to survive, and this is not the end of the world. That can help you also at the very beginning of the interview. So while you are in the waiting room, or if it's an online interview, 5 minutes before, while you're already in front of the computer with your headphone and all of that, but you're still waiting for the interviewer, just tell yourself, I'm gonna be fine. It's okay. I can do that. You know, send this positive message to your brain, and this is not blah, blah, blah. This helps. Remember that I said that at the end of the video, I was gonna share a secret about nerves during the job interview? So yeah, the time has come. Let me share a story with you. I have been attending theater classes and improvisation classes for more than 10 years. I remember a long time ago, one of my theater teachers told me right before the show, like right before going on the stage to act on the play, that there were the good nerves and the bad nerves. That was the first time I heard about it, good nerves and bad nerves. Until that point, in my mind, nerves were always bad. They were always removing you from the right track. But he explained me something about the theater that I think that can be 100% applied to the job interview situation. He told me that, Juliana, when you are going on stage, it's good to have a little bit of this thing inside you. These nerves that keeps you alert, keeps you focused on what you're gonna do, put all your energy, your adrenaline on the right direction. That actually helps you to achieve what you want to do. That's the good nerves, the one that just kind of push you into the direction you want to go. There are the bad nerves, the other nerves, the only ones I knew until that moment. The bad nerves, they make you freeze. They stop you from going where you want to go. Bad nerves, they block your mind, your eyes. You can't see anything. You get completely lost. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you are and all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. Good nerves, they keep you awake. They keep you on the moment, and they don't let you be too relaxed and too confident, because that's another thing I've seen in job interviews. People go overconfident. They feel too good about it, and they think that they already shaped it even before it started. So a little bit of good nerves, the one you feel here in your belly, in your stomach, that keeps you alert, awake, and paying attention, getting all the information around, that's good for you. That will keep you alert and will bring your best to the moment. It's just enough nerves to keep you on. It's like turning on bottom. So not all the nerves are bad, and if you manage to keep your nerves in a certain level that just keep you alert and active, that's the point where you want to be in your next job interview. Awake, paying attention, understanding everything with all your senses in the maximum level, but not the bad nerves that will block you and that will remove you from the right track. So that's the point. Good nerves, they actually help you in the process. They actually push you into the right direction. So At the end of the day, let's just try to minimize the bad nerves and increase the right nerves and use it on your own benefit. Job interviews are important in a recruitment process. There is a high chance that you're going to do at least one job interview during the process. It can be at the very beginning, it can be over the phone, maybe a face-to-face interview, maybe through the computer, it doesn't matter. All of them are important. All of them probably will be a turning point into the recruitment process. So if your perform is not good, you might even lose the job. And nerves can play a big role in helping you to perform well on the job interview, or, guiding you through the door and say, okay, next candidate, this was not the one. I know it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's possible. The more you train, the more you learn how to balance your nerves, the best for you. This is Career to Go, a new YouTube channel to share secrets and tips about career, about job interviews, about curriculum, about LinkedIn, and all related topics. So if you liked the content of this video, please click like, please follow us, and we're going to keep sharing every week new videos and new content to help you to find your dream job.